Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian from the Association of the United States Army's annual conference and trade show in Washington, D.C. And we've got with us Doug Shidler, who is from the Sikorsky Corporation of Lockheed Martin, and Pat Donnelly, who is with Boeing. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me. Doug, I wanted to start and ask you about the Defiant. This is one of the hot things at the show that folks haven't seen. Tell us a little bit about what you're trying to achieve with this new aircraft.
Yes, Vago. The Defiant is an aircraft which leverages the X2 technology. This is the third application of the X2 technology. It's in the 30,000-pound weight class, going to be flying around 250 knots. And what it will demonstrate is we can retain all the capabilities of a vertical lift aircraft while hitting the speed parameters in there.
And this is technology that you guys have invested considerable amounts of money on over the years in order to do this sort of compound design of a tandem rotor blade with a pusher prop. What are some of the flight tests that you've been conducting? What have they been showing you about the envelope, the feasibility, and the practicality of the technology?
Okay, this, as I said, this is the third application. This aircraft, the Defiant, is in assembly right now. So our other two platforms, the X2 technology demonstrator, flew over 250 knots back in 2010. Then we've gone into our second platform, which is the S-97 Raider. That is flying down in West Palm Beach, going through development flight testing right now. So we're looking forward to getting this platform into flight test in 2017.
Pat, what do you hope that this program is going to help the Army achieve?
So the Joint Multi-Role Tech Demonstrator is hoping to inform the government on what's the art of the possible. You know, the DoD, led by the Army, is trying to figure out requirements for future vertical lift. And as such, they'd like to go faster, they'd like to go further, they'd like to carry more, but they don't know what's the capability is. So this aircraft will help them inform of that.
Do you guys at this point know because this program is really far out into the future. You know, we're looking at the earliest, you're bending metal 23, thereabouts. How soon do you think you're going to be bending metal?
Well, bending metal is an older term, so I'll say laying composites. So we'll be laying composites in the 23 time frame associated with that. But we're looking forward to getting this aircraft in the air, and then, as Pat said, lead into the next phase for the FVL medium class.
But at this point, do you know, aside from it being faster, do you know any of the core requirements that are likely to shape this aircraft ultimately?
They're starting with speed as well as range and number of troops in the aircraft, but there's so many other attributes that have yet to come out, such as agility at the landing zone, which is very, very critical when inserting troops into battle.
What are some of the thinking that you guys, we understand that from the standpoint of, everybody thinks helicopter, thinks Sikorsky, as well as Bell and a couple of other companies, and Boeing too. You guys are also. But the question I had for you is how, as two legendary helicopter houses, you guys are actually splitting up the work, the division of labor, about what Sikorsky is bringing to the party and what Boeing is bringing to the party.
Well, we looked at our capabilities and we believe that we're bringing the best of both worlds. So what Sikorsky's best at, they're bringing to the table and vice versa. So as we go forward, we now have Lockheed as part of our team as they've purchased the Sikorsky company. And so now we can draw on both Boeing and Lockheed, the greater corporations, to bring and really give us the best product for the government.
So what do you think you guys are good at, and what do you think he's good at?
We're good at a lot of different things, and what we do is leverage them and make sure we're providing the best product that we can for our customer.
That was a very artful way of not answering my question. But how soon, what are the stakes involved in this competition? I mean, if you look at it, it's very rare that you have a competition that's that far out into the future. And if you're an American helicopter maker, there is an enormous amount that's riding on this. The loser could conceivably be forced from the helicopter business ultimately. As folks who are in this industry, what are some of the, does the government need to be thinking somewhat more strategically about the future of the helicopter industrial base as it's tied up in a program like this?
Well, relative to the stakes, the objective, as stated, is to replace both Black Hawk and Apache with the FVL medium class. So there's a large number of Black Hawks as well as a large number of Apaches out there. So yeah, the stakes are large. Relative to the industrial base, both the Black Hawk and Apaches will be on current plan going out of production in the 25, 26 timeframe. So from an industrial base, that's very, very concerning. but also in the technological industrial base, which precedes the production side. Where are we going to make sure we get our engineers that can design and develop new platforms? That's today's concern we need to address.
Yeah, so as such, and then the question is, how does this technology morph? As you go forward, what's the likelihood that the computer that you have today is going to be the computer that's going to be in the system 10 years from now? So the whole mission systems, how do you go to open system architecture? How do you evolve? How do you keep this thing technically relevant when we field it 10, 15 years from now?
From a buildability, from a producibility standpoint, the industry is really undergoing a revolution. Everybody is trying to figure out how to reduce the number of parts in a system, how to reduce the number of subsystems, how to get back to an era of very clever engineering. Are you guys going to be pioneering some of and looking at some of those technologies and production efficiencies as you go about developing this program?
It all starts with the design environment, which you put in place at the very beginning. And yes, we're designing the Defiant, as we have many of our prior platforms, in a 3D environment, a digital environment, versus a legacy ink on Mylar. So that enables not only the initial design, but the production, reliability, production, deterministic tooling, and then going into your logistics support. You have a digital thread going all the way through the life cycle, from the beginning all the way through the fielding of the product.
And one final question. One of the competitors, obviously Bell, is who you're partnered with, obviously on the V-22 program, which is the world's first successful operational tilt rotor. They're going with the tilt rotor technology. Why do you feel that you guys have an advantage with this design as opposed to a tilt rotor?
Well, the requirements aren't firm yet, but certainly from our perspective, this aircraft is a helicopter, has helicopter characteristics that can fly fast. So it has the agility, the low-speed maneuverability that we think the Army and the DoD is looking for a Black Hawk replacement.
Perfect answer.
Guys, thanks very, very much. Best of luck on the program, and looking forward to seeing it actually in the composite.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Vago.